day's a day, a bad luck's always a coming my way.
For today's Grimm adventure, we find ourselves in London, visiting one of the most famous streets in horror history. You guys ready for it? Fleet Street. That's right. Today we are telling the story of Sweeney Todd, the demon barber of Fleet Street. Now, when it comes to the real life Sweeney Todd, there are people out there who say that he was a real person. Me personally, and I think a lot of other people, believe that the character Sweeney Todd, the story of Sweeney Todd, was actually created using a bunch of other different people throughout history. The more you look into it, the more it becomes clear. But when it comes to the story, there are some real life locations here in London on Fleet Street that you can visit. And for this, we have to walk a couple blocks down this way. And trust me when I say that this is a beautiful day for a walk, the different architecture. And you ready for it? We're gonna see some dragons. Now, before we get too deep into the story of Sweeney Todd, the demon barber of Fleet Street, let's talk about the very first time the world ever heard his name. And that was here in London in 1846 to 1847. You see, the story of Sweeney Todd appeared for the very first time in what was known as penny dreadfuls, which was like a serial, like a little magazines that had to deal with true crime. And this one kind of stuck with the world ever since it was released. Remember when I said that during this video you're going to see a dragon? Well, there he is right there above that little statue or monument in the middle of the street. You see things like this all over London. Right now we're just walking down the street and we noticed that if you look to the left of the statue, well, here's one of the red double-decker buses coming, so give it a moment. Right now we're just walking down the street, taking in some of the sights, and we notice that if you look to the left of the statue, you can see some skulls in the stonework there. Now, look on the building that's right behind it. Right about there, you see that sign that says Fleet Street? Should tell you we're in the right spot. Now let's say, by chance, you've never heard the name Sweeney Todd, the demon barber of Fleet Street. You have never heard the name Penny Dreadfuls, even though there's a TV show called Penny Dreadfuls. You probably have seen Tim Burton's movie, Sweeney Todd, the demon barber of Fleet Street. I keep saying that, it just rolls off the tongue. It starred Johnny Depp and Helena Bonham Carter as both Sweeney Todd and Mrs. Lovett. Now you guys are gonna love this story if you've never heard any of this before, but if you have, this video might blow your mind.
This is the tale of an ordinary man who had everything.
Barker, his name was. Benjamin Barker.
Until a man of power stole his freedom, destroyed his family, and banished him.
May the Lord have mercy on your soul.
For life. And in his sorrow, a new man was born.
15 years dreaming I might come home to a wife and child.
Benjamin Barker.
Not Barker. Sweeney Todd now. And he will have his revenge. Where's my wife?
She's gone. And he's got your daughter.
Judge Turpin.
You've got to leave this all behind you now.
No. These are desperate times. Desperate measures are called for. I can guarantee the closest shave you will ever know.
May the good Lord smile on you.
You're barking mad.
The years no doubt have changed me.
That's all very well, but what are we going to do about him?
Tell you what though, just walking the streets of London like this is glorious, this is beautiful. Now just think about this for a moment. Sweeney Todd, the Demon Barber of Fleet Street, was introduced or unleashed upon the world in 1846, 1847. It was a stage play, it was a musical. Angela Lansbury played Mrs. Lovett at one point.
Sweeney Todd, the Demon Barber of Fleet Street, the new Stephen Sondheim Harold Prince musical thriller starring Angela Lansbury and Glenn Carriou.
What happened then? Well, that's the play, and he wouldn't want us to give it away.
Not Sweeney.
Not Sweeney Todd.
The entire time that we've been filming this video, we've been walking Fleet Street. We had to park down there and walk up this way. And the reason being, there is a building up here. Now, you have to remember, when something like this happens and it kind of sticks with people, people make money off of it in some way, shape, or form. Now, as far as anybody can tell, there never really was a Sweeney Todd or a barbershop here on Fleet Street that, had a murderous barber. But in October of 1926, a newspaper article came out where it had a picture of a barbershop on this road that said Sweeney Todd. We're going to show you where that was. Now keep in mind, October 1926, this photo was taken. And wouldn't you know it, as soon as we turn the camera off, we look up and we see this. The Demon Barber of Fleet Street. No, it's not the right one. And actually, this isn't even on the side of the road that supposedly the story took place. But this is cool. I think it is beyond amazing that you can actually come to Fleet Street today and get your hair cut at the Demon Barber of Fleet Street. Oh, I love it. I love it so much. So pretty much right where Jessica is standing is where the new Demon Barber of Fleet Street barbershop is. Now the picture that was taken back in 1926 is pretty much right across the street. I'm gonna line up as best as I possibly can. But you see this white building right here? This is where in 1926 it appeared in a paper here in London where there was an actual business over here saying Sweeney Todd's. We're going to try to line this up as best as possible, and I think this is as close as we're going to get. You can see those windows on the building on the left-hand side are still the same. They're kind of like those elongated rectangle ones. And then on the right-hand side, you can see that circular window up there, as well as parts of the roof that are still the same. But that white area, it looks like it's been redone. It actually says Fleet Street on it right there. But there used to be a whole bunch of advertisements on there, or I'm sorry, adverts, depending on where you are in the world. And Sweeney Todd, hairdresser, that sign used to be right there. Man, that's crazy cool. So the address of that building from 1926 is 152 Fleet Street. But according to the story, we have to go to 186 Fleet Street, which is just right up this area, like a block or two away. So let's talk a little bit about the story of Sweeney Todd, the Demon Barber of Fleet Street. Basically, he was a killer. He killed people in his barbershop here on Fleet Street, and depending on how you know the story, whether it's the musical or the movie, he would slice their throats with a straight razor, because again, he was a barber. But in all actuality, the original Penny Dreadfuls, he didn't kill people that way. Instead, once he got people in his barber chair, he would hit a lever, their body would go down this chute, down to these tunnels, or the basement of his barbershop, and they would snap their necks. But ultimately, if they lived, then he would go down there with his straight razor and slice their throats. Now the story goes that once Sweeney Todd's victims were officially dead, he would carry their bodies through a tunnel that went underneath his barbershop, underneath a church, and then down the street to Mrs. Lovett's Meat Pie Bakery. Now you have to keep in mind that all of this is a story, so addresses really don't line up, but in the story, 186 Fleet Street is Sweeney Todd's barbershop, and that puts it right here next to this church, that building right there. Right next to Sweeney Todd's barbershop is St. Dunstan's Church, which is an old church that's here, and it's absolutely gorgeous. We're gonna go inside in just a little bit. But they have this old drinking fountain here, and I had to take a look at this. I had to show you guys this. You see this face? How amazing is that? It's funny, every time we do an adventure like this, I always come across these beautiful churches, and we're gonna go inside, but we still have parts of the story to tell. Now, the entrance to the barber shop is kind of hidden. So this building right here, it now says Dundee Courier on it. This is the building. It's like what, 4 floors, 5 floors? And there's no entrance right here, but there is an alleyway. And I've seen pictures of the back door. What's this say? All hail to the mischief. Walking down through this, it smells so bad. It's called the Hen and Chicken Court alleyway. We're looking for the entrance to the building. Definitely smells like somebody pissed and vomited back here. So it's to say 184A Fleet Street. So the entrance to the building, in the story of Sweeney Todd, there's no entrance off the front street, off of Fleet Street. So you kind of have to walk back this way. If you guys are watching this video and you want to come out, are there people singing? It is like a school. There's people singing over here to the right. I think it's kids. If you do come back here, just know it smells really, really bad. So far, we've seen the 1926 photo of Sweeney Todd's barbershop, the hairdressing place. We saw where the building is in the story right next to the church. The tunnels are supposed to go underneath the church, and then Mrs. Lovett should be on the other side of this building. We're going to see what we can see over there. It's a little area known as Bell Yard, B-E-L-L Yard. How crazy would it be if we go over there and there's like a meat pie spot? I know what we're going to do for lunch then. But Jessica just noticed something very interesting. Right here in the ground, there's these grates. It's like storm drains, but if you look, I don't know if we can see this on camera. I'm gonna put the camera down as much as I possibly can. There's an actual door down there. I can't tell if it's translating that well on camera. But who knows? Let's say Sweeney Todd was real. Is this part of the basement, the tunnels that he would carry his bodies to go get made into pies so all the locals can eat? The best pies in London. Now, we're not gonna lie, it smelled so bad back there, but this church is beyond beautiful, so we're gonna dip inside the church and take a look at it, and then continue on our journey in search of Mrs. Lovett's pie shop. The bell has tolled. Just look how beautiful this is. Very simple, yet very beautiful.
These are my friends. See how they glisten. See this one shine. How he smiles in the light. My friend, my faithful friend.
It's not a very big church on the inside, but it is beautiful. All right, from here, we're in search of Mrs. Lovett's meat pies. So now we are in search of Bell Yard, or the old Bell Yard, which is on the other side of the church. Now remember, in theory, according to the story, we are walking over top of the tunnels that the bodies were taken to be prepared for the people of London. Well, this is nice back here. I mean, don't get me wrong, I mean, there's some trash here and there, of course, but the architecture is just out of this world. To be completely honest, we're not entirely sure what the Bell Yard technically is. I mean, this could be it. It's like a little park, or maybe it's just like a little area. We definitely found this. And we're just kind of walking around exploring. Look at that building off to your right, baby ghoul. Now that is something else. Now we know that Sweeney Todd, the Demon Barber of Fleet Street, is the story, the old penny dreadfuls. But just walking through London on a day just like today, doesn't it kind of give you the Sweeney Todd kind of feels? Yeah. Maybe we should go get our haircut. And off she goes. She's like, nope, I'm done. You're on your own. Now the fun thing about this, we're trying to track down locations from a story that date back to the 1800s. And now we know we're in the right spot because you see here it says Fleet Street. So if I come down here, it says you are here, and you can see it says Fleet Street right there. So the Bell Yard, if we come down to this next one, I know I'm kind of making everybody dizzy. It says B4 Bell Yard. That's what we're looking for. B4 right here. So it's in this little area. So we're pretty close to it. Well, according to the story, the legend. We've been walking these streets searching for any signs saying that we're near or on or close to the Bell Yard. And it turns out we were here the entire time. As you can see, that sign right there says Bell Yard WC2. So from here, we're just kind of walking around. There's a couple different alleyways. We're trying to find what many people believe, according to the story, would be Mrs. Lovett's pie shop. We'll find it. We'll find it. The wind is really starting to pick up. And we're kind of making this up as we go. Again, we're just following the story, not actual places. But considering where Sweeney Todd's barbershop is, where the church is, the tunnels are supposed to go underneath the church, it kind of puts it diagonal over this way towards the Bell Yard. So we're wondering if we keep walking down this way to the next block, we'll come across Mrs. Lovett's pie shop. So right now we are standing in an alleyway that's between Fleet Street and Carey Street. The Bell Yard is behind me, and Jessica is looking down at, it's like a little tunnel. There's some doors down there. Now if we go down to the right, you're gonna see these blue construction walls. A lot of people believe that this building right here, we can't see it, is where Mrs. Lovett's pie shop once stood. Well, according to the story. And it's in the basement where she had a fake wall that would open up to reveal the catacombs. And Sweeney Todd, or whoever, their helper, would bring the bodies into the pie shop and she would turn them into meat. Now the fun thing about this, if we were to have x-ray vision and look right through this blue wall, we would find the church, as well as what's believed to be Sweeney Todd's barbershop. So it's all in line. Now, like I said, the story of Sweeney Todd, the Demon Barber of Fleet Street, pretty much circulated here in London in the 1800s through what was known as penny dreadfuls, basically like serial magazines that, it's like crime magazines of today. Now, there are people out there, like scholars and people who have really dug deep to try to figure out if he was a real person. They were able to pull up information about a guy who was in prison who actually lived down this way, but nobody has been able to pinpoint an actual Sweeney Todd or where the barbershop once was or Mrs. Lovett's meat pies. It's all stories. But what's really interesting, the more you dig into the story, you can see that a lot of inspiration for the story was probably pulled from different people throughout history. Now here's some fun trivia. This entire video we've been saying Sweeney Todd, the Demon Barber of Fleet Street, but do you know Sweeney Todd's real name before he became Sweeney Todd? And we're not going to tell you in the video. If you know it, feel free to comment below. In the world of Google and the internet, it should be pretty easy. Screw it. Benjamin Barker. And with that being said, thank you for joining us on another Grimm adventure, this time going way back in the history of London to Sweeney Todd, the Demon Barber of Fleet Street. Pretty cool, right? With that being said, thank you for joining us on another Grimm adventure. Until next time, happy Halloween.
Wherever I come, bad luck just comes my way. Wherever I go, hard luck is there to stay. Good luck never stays a day. Bad luck's always a call.